What's up, everybody? KG here, coming at you with an exciting live stream this evening. In the back, I have got my boys. I'll introduce them in a minute. You're going to have to wait. For those of you who are new to the channel, these two gentlemen here have been around our Hex and Pulse Chain community for some time now. They've done a lot of amazing things in terms of supporting new projects, a lot of the projects that are coming up in the Hex and Pulse Chain community, giving them a voice. And they've also, to my knowledge, have been the one team that has run the most sacrifice pools. And if you're not familiar with that, that's okay. It's a pretty cool thing that they've done. So they've decided that they want to bring forth their own protocol to benefit the Hex ecosystem that we all believe in. And so I'm going to let them tell you all about it tonight. I'm going to be learning a lot myself on this stream. I've heard some things, but I'm going to deep dive, ask all the questions that I need to ask so that I can get a really good grasp and understanding of exactly what they're building and exactly how it's going to benefit Hex. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I will get to them. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on my friends, Extrovert and Triplet Dad. What's up, fellas?
Hey, KG.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. Feels really good to be back on stream. I haven't streamed in a while, so I'm feeling excited about tonight.
Every time we come on, I see something different in your background. Are you with Anonymous, bud?
You know, I plead the fifth. No, I picked that mask up. I thought it was really cool. And I actually, for almost a year now, I've had it sitting right here off camera. And I was like, let's throw it in the shot tonight.
when brother KG switches to We Are Legion, I'm going to start to really.
Brother Legion.
Well, thanks for the kind intro. Very, very nice. Appreciate you.
And I really mean that. That was one thing that I appreciated about you guys very early on is even though projects weren't established yet, you still took the time to get to know the founders and the teams and the developers and give the projects that you thought were legitimate a voice. And that's really cool because you gave us internet money a voice in the very early days. And so we're always appreciative of that. And you guys, again, on all your sacrifice pools, you've done everything you said you're going to do. You've proved that you're legitimate individuals in my book. And, you know, I'm excited to hear what you guys are bringing to the table.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we're modeling our activities a little bit after yours, right? Not so much the sacrifice, but hopefully it models after yours. Yours was pretty awesome, right? But the energy that you put into internet money at the beginning and the rooms that you were in and the things, the constant content, post everywhere, handing out coins. It was pretty awesome. And it's taken us a team of guys to put that level of, get that level of
gusto.
Yeah, trust. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
cool.
I'm glad that it was seen, acknowledged, and that's cool. Thank you for saying that.
We had a lot of fun facilitating your sacrifice. I was actually away at the cabin when we did that one, and I'm like, all right, well, I can join in for a few hours, but I've got stuff to do. And I think about 3 hours in or so, we'd hit 1 million. Or I'm like, wow, this is just one of the most explosive sacrifices we'd been involved in. It was something else. And I went out for the rest of the day and left you two going, and I come back later on, and it was like pretty much effectively capped for memory in 5 or 6 hours or something.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
It was pretty quick. It was a lot of fun. Short, sharp, sweet, not dragged on. Because these things, they have a habit of, they take a lot of time and energy. Like the PulseX one, the Liquid Loans one, man, not only did we deal with that through the period that it was live, but both of those sacrifices from a ledger point of view and the Telegram rooms with the community, it's still ongoing, but there was a time there for like 6-7 months just communicating nonstop with community members. So it does take a lot of time and energy.
I believe that completely. And you guys, in a lot of ways, are the custodians of those funds. That's a lot of responsibility. And you guys have been consistent in showing up, staying around, communicating. And I think that's very important. And anybody who participated in your sacrifice pools, I'm sure they really appreciate that.
Yeah. So just on that, so the only ones that haven't been fulfilled are the ones that are not out.
Of course.
So internet money's fulfilled, poor plebs fulfilled. As for PulseX liquid loans, they've been fulfilled on a testnet token level with our multi-DApp sender, just to make sure everyone got included and they're happy and all that sort of thing. And there was 5 lockup wallets for liquid loans, so we did 5 different denominations of sends just to acknowledge that all of their different lockup periods got attributed. And so far we've had 100% success rate. As normal, there was, I want to say maybe 1% or 2% that said, hey, I didn't receive it. Sure enough, we would go to the block explorer and find it for them straight away.
Yep.
Our multi-sender actually tells us, based off our spreadsheet, you can see the calculations and it'll tell you that it's sending this amount, and you can verify that against our spreadsheet. It tells you how many unique wallet addresses it's doing, so you can verify that. It even tells you if there's a dud, like a wallet with a problem, before you send. It'll actually shorten the number, and nothing balances, so there's something wrong before you even go ahead. So it's a really cool tool, and automates everything. So when we go to V3, obviously everything's going to get reset, and we'll do it again. We'll test it again on V3.
And this is that whole system is a garbage in, garbage out type scenario, right? There was a lot of trash that we had to fix up in that sack. Different wallets, people that sacked from all over the place, right? I can't tell you how many hours Ty and I spent making sure that everything was correct before we did multi-sends. That was not hours, that was days and days and days.
You're still, I think, underestimating it. For me, it was months and months and months.
Yeah.
He was just smoking cigars. You were doing
and then discussions with different teams, so like Liquid Loans in the background, because we were their number one wallet, biggest sacrifice. So they felt important to talk to us and just make sure everything looked okay from our end, verifying with their end. And we were pretty close. And then we both went away and looked at some other stuff and come back after multiple audits. Finally got it to where it needed to be. Then people that sacked from a Staker app, we had to identify Staker app. And then you can actually click on the blockchain on the Staker address, and you'll see the underlying address, which is the user's address. So we had to manually update every one of those, so it went to the user and not the Staker app. So it's been, we've learned a lot along the way. We have learned a lot.
And that's interesting that you're going through all that, because now you can imagine, not just you, but anybody, why even the Pulse Chain sacrifice and PulseX sacrifice took so much curating, because can you imagine that on like an amplified scale of 30, 40,000 people or more?
Yeah, and on absolute bonker chains like Cardano and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be almost unmanageable. It would be really, really tough.
Yeah, that team can have that. Yeah.
Shout out Pulse Chain devs. Let's go.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
So, all right. Well, let's transition into. Go ahead and tell us. What is Steakhouse? What is it hope to achieve? Let's dive into what it is.
Is it just me, or is KG cutting out?
He cut out a couple times, but you take this first run, Ty.
I think he needs to get Starlink. Do you need us to send a Starlink to your house, KG? Because we'll do that for you.
We got lines to Elon now because we have our own project.
Yeah, please do, because they don't support Starlink in my area. So if you can hit up your boy Elon, I'd appreciate that.
All right,
Wow, they don't support Starlink. That's crazy. So Steakhouse, where do we begin? Well, we begin approximately February last year. So it's over 12 months now. It was TD's brainchild based on experiences that he had personally with ending steaks and hitting the end steak gas fees. So that was the primary goal was, all right, there's this issue. How do we solve this issue? And then over time, through discovery and talking to the devs and some other people in the community that we trust that are smarter than us, it morphed into more. It just, it started as a gas saving protocol, but then it became, well, hang on, there's the bigger pays better. So everyone's going to get a benefit of the bigger pays better. Then Hedron came about. So we're like, well, we can tap into Hedron. And people can get a portion of the Hedron. So it really did change along the way through the whole process of like the 12 months. And then through that same process, just trying to like find balances between making it make sense for people to want to pull together and earning the bigger pays better, that type of stuff. And then also managing our other protocols that because everything ties in together with actually Magic Carpet Ride. The MCR369 token is the token that will for people who stake that will get rewards from any of the protocols that we're running. So that's kind of cool. So once we started to map out a circulatory system that all makes sense. And then we needed to actually build the bistro as well, which is an OTC marketplace. And that we had no idea that we were going to do that when we first started this journey. It came by necessity after working out parts of Stakehouse because there isn't one token for Steakhouse. There can't be, purely because every pool is unique in its dynamics. So different amount of hex and a different period stake length time. So you can't have really one token to rule them all there. So every pool will have a unique pulled stake token. And so for that reason, we're like, well, that's something that you wouldn't want to put on a liquidity pool because there'd be 1,000 of these things. People can do it because it is a standard ERC20 token, and people might do it maybe with a big pool because it'll make sense. You can't stop it. It's a free market. But we'd be advocating to use the marketplace simply because everything we're doing is trustless, no admin keys, immutable. So the marketplace will be a peer-to-peer marketplace between two users. And so after we started to map this out, we're like, well, people are now going to start monitoring all these pools on our front end on a really beautifully designed user interface, which will give them an amazing user experience. We have professionals that we've known for a while that are doing the UI UX, and we know that's a super important part to any product is having a really intuitive, beautifully laid out user interface and user experience. So effectively, people will look on that dashboard at all the different pooled stakes and which ones have got the greatest T-shares. So effectively, the marketplace now will become an avenue where people will shop for T-shares effectively and buy, sell in or buy in or sell out of pools. And again,
at this point, KG, do you have any questions?
Okay. One clarifying question. So each time you pool together and you start the pooled stake, a new token is created, and that represents your portion of that stake.
Yeah. I'll run through that.
You get a 1-to-1 ratio with that pool's token and the amount of hex that you put in. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're joining Papa B's staking ladder pool, you put 20,000 hex into that pool, you're going to get 20,000 receipt tokens for that particular pool.
And are those tokens, do they have one unified name, or are the tokens named whatever the name of the pool is?
So we're kind of probably keep some,
Yeah.
we're going to keep some of this info close to our chest just because of the competitive nature in the community right now. So we'll just probably leave that at that. But underlying, like Hex, there is a unique stake ID to every stake. So you could imagine that even though the front end might have, let's say, an alias, behind under the hood will be like a unique pooled stake ID number type scenario. So just touching base on how it looks for someone when this is launched. It's a standalone product, so they don't need to sacrifice for Steakhouse or Bistro. There's no token for Bistro. The only token that is for Steakhouse is the one you mint yourself when you pull your hex, okay? So it's standalone. So once it's live, someone can initiate a pool, and that pool can be initiated from 1 day to 30 days, okay? Maximum 30 days. This is just to open the pool, okay? And at the same time, they determine how long they want their pool open for. They also have to determine how long this stake with the native hex protocol is going to run from 1 day to 5555, because that's the parameters within the native stake smart contract. Once that's done, that'll get populated on our dashboard for all to see. It'll also get populated by the Twitter bot that we'll have. So there'll be a Stakehouse Twitter bot specifically for pulled stakes that'll announce, such and such, like 0x blah, blah, blah address, or if it's a named one or whatever that might be in the future, has just opened a pool. It's open for 5 days. It's going for 1 year, and they've committed, they've pulled a million units of hex. Okay. And so that'll get populated on Twitter. We're trying to make that social interaction and stickiness so people will like it, retweet it. Other people will see it. They'll start to go visit the dashboard, keep an eye on all the different pools, see which one they want to go in. Maybe they want to go in multiple. They'll see all different time frames and T-share rates, and they'll go, well, I'm going to put some in here and I'm going to put some in here. And so it really opens up this massive opportunity and diversification that we haven't had in Hex before. Hex
we would actually suggest that if you're interested in putting some hex into pools, don't come in and start your own pool. Go look for an existing pool that is currently open that matches the time frame within 30 days or something like that of when you would like that stake to end. So if you want to create a stake that's 5 years out and you see one that's this one's 4 years and 10 months away from my date, grab that one, because there's already financial horsepower in that particular pool, and you're going to be leveraging the already existing bigger pays better and adding to that for that entire group. So we are playing on. So Richard Hart got Hex completely correct, right? Hex is immutable, flawless operation, 3 years. What we as a group got correct was the Hex community, right? I've never seen a community like this in any other crypto. And I was somewhat degen. I was all over the place, right? This is a crazy community. Maybe when Strong was pumping, those guys were off the hook, right? When Drip was pumping, those guys are off the hook. But this is an unbelievable community that stuck together even in this bear market. So we're leveraging that big time. We want people to come in and join with other people. Don't put your stamp on something just for the sake of having your stamp on it, right? Join with other people, get the bigger pays better bonus for everybody.
Yeah, so we're trying to create that social stickiness, interaction, because as good as Hex is, it is a little bit of a boring product. You buy it, you stake it, you wait. So you go about your life, you hang out in spaces, you educate people, talk some crap on Twitter, whatever, right? So this is now going to make it like supercharged. People have got a reason to be around all the time. because these pools are going to be opening and closing all the time. I know Famous has set up a website for Hex Pool, like for for his community. So he's basically going to look at creating pools on our protocol, and he's going to pull that with his community. So they're going to do that as a collective. We had another guy, Vets in Crypto, talking about doing some charity pools. So it's just, and these aren't things that we thought about at the start. This just started to morph along the way once we realized what we were creating. And we're like, the opportunities for what people are going to come up with. We're talking to Crispy Man, steak and ladders. So maybe someone who's really good at steaks, ladders, is going to go, right, once a month for 15 months, we're going to create a ladder. And so he's going to do a pool every month for 15 months. And then people who don't understand how to create a proper ladder can just join in the steak and ladders. So it's mind-boggling, some of the communication we've had in our Telegram with people saying, what about this? And they just keep coming up with ideas. So I think it's super net positive for the community, super net positive for Hex, because there is no emergency end stake feature. So you know that these stakes go from start to finish, which means when you look at them on Hex Vision and you see when they're finished, that's when they're going to finish, because it can't be emergency end staked. And that was another reason why having the receipt token as well, was because we're like, okay, well, we want people to be able to have the opportunity, if something unfortunate happens in their life, to be able to extract value and get out and not get penalized. And Hex doesn't have that. Currently, the system is set up where you emergency end stake, and depending how far along you are, you'll get a penalty. And if it's below 50%, it starts eating into your principal. Okay, so we wanted to give people the opportunity for various reasons, whether they've got an issue in real life, or whether people are just degens and they want to trade and they want to extract value now and not wait. We want to just give people that flexibility to be able to do that. And for that reason is why we chose a token over an NFT, because with an NFT, it's an all or nothing deal. And so if people wanted to get some value out for a particular reason, but they didn't want to lose their whole position, so they can now sell 25% or 50% of their position in that pool to do what they need to do in real life. Maybe things get better in the future, they come back and they rebuy a position in that pool or another pool. And that's the beauty of the OTC marketplace.
Yeah. There's a vast majority of the people that have EES in our community, I'm almost positive, wish they didn't have to do their whole stake, right? So that's a huge deal. They had some type of emergency or something like that, or if they thought that this is the biggest price we're ever going to see, maybe they just go get their gains or get a part of their gains and keep a moon bag in there. They wouldn't have done the whole thing if they had the option to do so, right? So that's what we're trying to do with this. It's going to be pretty slick deal. We're also emulating the bleed out feature that Hex has. So if you're in a pool with 30 other people, and the imaginary horribles that Richard Hart talks about all the time, somebody's in jail, somebody lost their seed phrases, and I also like to say some positives too, right? So somebody just got so wealthy that he just doesn't even care about these stakes anymore.
I love it.
He's just traveling the world, right? And doesn't give a shit. Yep. That guy's gone and we never see him again. His stake is going to bleed out. His portion of that stake is going to bleed out to those people who have the MCR token stake.
Which we'll get into that.
It's 100% of that bleed out, though. So if you had your stake native in Hex, half of that would go to the OA and the other half goes to the staker class, right? But here, the entire bleed out function goes to those that have the MCR token staked. So you will have 3 tokens on ETH, 3 tokens on Pulse Chain. Pulse, Hedron, and Hex on Pulse Chain, ETH, Hedron, and Hex on Ethereum. It's pretty slick.
All right. So, all right. I do want to dive into the MCR token because, well, we love passive
Well,
income around.
before we get there, can we just quickly fly over a couple of things on Stakehouse because it's going to make more sense for why people might want to accumulate the MCR token?
Oh, yeah, we're definitely not transitioning yet. I got more questions before we do. Now, there is a question that came up in chat, and you said the competitive nature, and I know that this has been the biggest question that I've seen, and I just want to address it. You guys speak to it as much or as little as you want to, but I know a lot of people are curious. We know that the Maximus gentlemen, they're having a hex pooling as well. Now, I personally, I'm learning about both of them at the same time. I see that it can't hurt the ecosystem to have more pooled options personally. But this person's question, Slarty Bartfast says, how similar to Pool Party from Maxi is this? Whatever you want to share.
Here's the answer to that. I don't think they even know, is my honest opinion on that. We have a clear product that's in the hands of the devs. And if asked those questions in streams recently, the answers are somewhat wishy-washy, right? So we don't know what Pool Party is going to do. And honestly, we have stopped looking because it changes a lot. The only similarities there is they're both pools. I believe theirs is starting differently, it's ending differently, it's perpetual. Ours is not like that. They will be two completely separate products.
Yeah, they're different. They're different products completely. So there's room for more products similar to this within the community. There's plenty of space. There's plenty of meat on the bone. The market will go where their assets are treated best, or they'll diversify, all that good stuff. What I will say, though, is we have solved the gas solution. So for starting, ending, it's built into the contract. We don't need to rely on someone to hopefully come and donate gas to make the end stake work. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So just to keep it on a very basic level, if someone initiates a pool and let's say 4 people go in the pool, well, the end stake for those 4 people are going to be divided into 4, right? Like 25% each, and so on. 10 people, they're going to pay 10% each, and that equals 100%, okay, saving 90. If you get up to 20 people in a pool, which I don't think is a very big number, 20 people. If you get 20 people in a pool, they're paying 5% each. That's 100%. That means they're saving 95% of the end stake gas fee. So when you enter a pool, you'll pay a network fee and a very small fee on top of that. Like a 2%, 2.5%, something like that. We haven't actually finalized that, but it's negligible. So it will cost a little bit more to put it on than you would by yourself, but you're getting a lot of other benefits by doing it that way. And so what happens is the more people that enter a pool, the more fees that get generated, and all of those fees go 100% back to the MCR token holders, okay? The only bit that doesn't get sent to the MCR token holders is the bit to actually initiate the stake, okay? And then on the back end, it's done differently because we know what the end stake fee is going to be the moment the public call functions hit. We'll have a total where at the start, because a pool could be initiated and go from 1 to 30 days and gas moves all over the place over 30 days, it's very that is a challenge. So we had to come up with like a network fee, like the Ethereum network fee or the Pulse Chain network fee, and a percentage, which just makes it easy and fair for everyone. And so people will just use that like they're doing a swap. They'll go, oh, Gwei's a bit high. I'm going to wait a day or two. The pool's open for 10 more days. I'm going to find the best time. I'm getting in this pool. Now I'm just going to find the best time to get in to save a few bucks, okay? On the back end, So what happens is the day before the stake comes to maturity, the first button will pop up on our front end that'll say that the hedron is able to be claimed, right? So that can be a public call function, which we've got some ideas for incentivizing that. Okay, we're not going to go into details because the more we let out, the more that seems to help others. So we're just going to keep a few things close to our chest. What we will talk about is what we've already spoken about. Once the hedron's been claimed and the hex pooled stake matures, the button will go live. So that can be publicly called. Now, for those who don't understand what a public call is, a public call is basically anyone can call that function to pay the gas and mint the hex from the hex native smart contract, and then that will come back into the pool. So we're like, okay, how do we incentivize somebody to hit that button? Because whoever hits the button has to pay the end stake fee up front, okay? The fee that we're all dreading, okay? And then what happens is as everyone else comes back to collect their portion of their hex and hedron, they have to pay their share. And so it's like a reimbursement thing. The person who makes the call is then the holds the rights to the reimbursement for everyone else that comes back and collects their hex. And then we're like, well, there is going to be times where maybe some people don't come back. You know, there's a whole lot of dynamics that could happen. So we're like, how do we incentivize them further? So what we've done is we've decided that if you don't come and claim your portion of your hex and hedron in the first 7 days, then your portion of hedron goes to a majority of it, a high percentage, goes to the user that did the public call. So we think people are going to race for that button because now if let's say there's 50 people in a pool and only half of them come back in the first 7 days, well, the other 25 positions in that pool, a high percentage of their hedron is all going to the person who did the public call. So we tried to incentivize someone to hit the button. And you don't even have to be in the pool to hit a public call button. It's a public call button. So there'll be people that might just do the public call function to accumulate potentially gas and hedron. So it's interesting. So we've got a few other gamifications. Some of them we're just going to keep close to our chest for now.
Very much like liquidity in a way, right? When somebody's trove or vault becomes over leveraged, right? That's a public call button. So if ETH dives within liquidity, you can go get a bounty. Basically, is what it is. And if you push that button, you get paid. That same feature will be on Liquid Loans. It was on Teddy Cash and all the other forks of liquidity that were out there at one point in time. Those public call features work. People race for those buttons. It happens all the time, as long as there's a reward for it.
You're muted, KG.
You're muted, KG.
Thank you. People will probably find a way to bot that button too. Well, the one question I have, and that's not a negative thing. That's just like because it's incentivized, someone's going to find out how to be quickest to get that incentive. But was that point? So as far as just to clarify, whoever calls that public call function to end the hex stake, are they solely paying the entire in-state gas fee?
Yeah,
they have to up front. There's no other way really, unless you had a please donate to me wallet,
Sure.
And then that obviously comes with its own challenges. So yeah, having an incentivized reimbursement system makes more sense, and also makes it trustless, which is what we're all about. Having donation wallets, even though the wallet is trustless, there's a lot of trust that other people are going to donate and all that type of stuff, right? So we wanted to come up with a system that'll just stand the test of time. We don't need to be around. Once this is deployed, it's up to the public to use it how they want. So that's why we've gone down this path and solved it within the smart contracts.
Totally understand. Okay.
So any excess fees from the end stake, and we were initially going to show people our very technical spreadsheet with all these different scenarios and the fees that it generates. And it is like anything. If it gets adopted, if people are pooling together, the more people pooling and doing stakes, the more it's going to earn. But in a bull market, when gas is high, the excess fees, so people will say, and this is another thing, we have to work out a balance between incentivizing people to want to pool. So we think 20 was a good number. Save 95% of the gas, pay 5, and we've capped it there. So what that means is anyone who comes in after 20, so whether 21 to 30 to 100 people, everyone after the 20th person is just paying a flat 5%. So they're all saving 95%. And all that excess Ethereum is going to the MCR token holders, passive revenue.
And that's how this protocol is staying afloat as well, right? We have a number that's a prudent reserve that we need to establish within our protocol to make sure everything keeps running and the lights are on and servers are paid, what have you, just operational expenses. But we are staking right along with everybody that has MCR 369 in their wallet, right? If they're staking right along with us, and our protocol is paid with those tokens.
And it turns out, KG,
similar to you, KG, right?
Well,
yeah.
It turns out that our MCR token has some similarities to the way yours works in the sense of the token itself. And we didn't try to copy you or anything. Just when we started developing it and going along, it's just how it came by design, that the token itself, it doesn't matter whether the price stays flat forever on the MCR token. What matters is how much you hold, because that's your position in the pool for all the revenue from any dApps that are under our MCR suite of products, which is interesting. As you pointed out,
very much like future, right?
Well, and that's okay. I'm not offended because I like that. Like what's spawned out of the Pulse Chain community is sort of this new class of asset that we haven't seen in crypto before. And the fact that, yes, the price of the MCR token, the time token, of course it matters in the sense that if you want to increase or decrease your position, of course the price matters in that respect. But as far as earning the passive income, if you plan to hold, the price is irrelevant. The token could be subterranean penny, or it could be $1 million, and your position of the income doesn't change. That's huge.
It is,
because so many of these other, most tokens, if not all other tokens, the income that you can derive from those tokens is directly tied to how much of this token do I have and how much of this token can I dump. If you can't do that, then you can't realize value. And that's not the case with this.
Doing something very similar, right? BNB Pot is doing something very similar with their roulette
exactly
and stuff like that. It's a great model. Having passive income coming in on 3 different assets that this community wants. Everybody wants more ETH. Everybody wants more Hex. Everybody loves Hedron. I don't see any reason why that token wouldn't be in my wallet. I'm going to have a lot of it.
We've also built a visual simulator for the bigger pays better, so people can understand the power of hexing together. That's one of our catch hashtags that we've been running, and we're going to continue to run forever, is hex together. And this is something we learned through the sacrifices we facilitated, okay? We got a 2.15 multiplier for PulseX, and we got a 2.338 multiplier for Liquid Loans, number 1 wallet. We went up against Godwale. We had the number 1 spot for a period of time. Godwale came in and laid the smack down, put down a transaction of like $4 million or something like that. Telegram group got a little bit disenchanted, motivation levels went down, and we're like, guys, there's still like 5 or 6 days left in this period before the bonding curve. I go, we may, together we're stronger. We may get there. And every day was just chipping away. And we caught the God whale with, I think there was a day or two left before the bonding curve. So in the first 10 days. And then as we're getting closer, people started to have belief. Some more people were coming in. They heard the stories. We even tweeted at God whale, thanks for pushing us. You're making us better. This is a team building exercise. And we slowly caught the God whale. And then the floodgates opened. We ended up doubling what we did in the first 5 or 6 days, 7 days in one day. And it was something else to see. And so swimming with whales was a catchphrase that we came up with. We made a thumbnail for one of our streams back then in February last year, swimming with whales. So just taking those ideas and the power of the community working together is another reason why this makes so much sense. And so we wanted to do a visual simulator so people could see, all things being equal, if they put 1 million units of hex in by themselves and put the same amount of units of hex, that would give them the same percentage in a pool. So everything's apples for apples, okay? Roughly on a 2-year stake, if you were to have, and this is just to give you a number, 1% of a pool, if there was 10 million units of hex in a pool and you had 1 million and you had 100 million, you had 1 million, it's about 5,000 units of hex more, okay? Which is, everyone wants more hex. So you'll be able to play around with your percentage in the pool, the amount that you want to put in. You can even change the hex daily payout rate, like it's at 6.35, I think, at the moment. Maybe it's a little higher. I haven't looked for a few days. So you can play with that too. Just to show people the power of doing this together. So not only you save on gas, some people don't care about saving on gas. Some people have been around for a long time. They've got Ethereum. They don't really care about the gas side, but there's a lot of people who do. So that's covered. Then we've got people who care about earning more hex. So the bigger pays better will help with that in a pooled stake. Okay. Something else that came about along this journey was the whole like people shopping for T-shares. It's almost like futures. People are going to be looking at this dashboard and looking at pooled stakes, and when they're coming out, all these different years and timelines and the amount of T-shares in there, and the market's going to price those accordingly. It hasn't been done before. People are going to really speculate on future price, current prices. It's going to be interesting to see.
So, all right, let's transition a little bit into the MCR token itself.
Can I share a screen, KG?
Please do.
Just to let's see if we can. One moment, buddy. You guys talk amongst yourself for a second.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Triplet. So give us the intro. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of the MCR token, which is you stake it, you earn the protocol fees. Sounds like you earn some of the bleeding hex. Just kind of give me the intro, the overview of the MCR token.
So there's a little bit of overage with all Ethereum fees, right? And that overage goes to the stakers. The main one, though, is the in-stake fee, because that's the largest fee in the Hex community, right? That could be, I've had $500 spent in gas in one day just taking down a couple of T-shares. So that's the fee that is going to pay the MCR token holders true dividends, especially in pools that have over 20 people. There's a small portion of the gas fee for the start stake that's going to the dividend or the MCR token holder, and there is a small portion of the fee for the 0x Bistro. If you're doing a peer-to-peer trade, right? I'm transferring my tokens to KG. A portion of that fee goes to the MCR token holders. We also we're not stopping here. Every one of our videos has said this is only the beginning. We do have other things on our roadmap that we're not going to discuss because we cannot. But understand that there's going to be more dApps paying the MCR token holders in the future.
Yes, I just want to give you a visual 2-minute visual explainer video for Stakehouse. Okay, is that all right?
Of course.
All righty, let's do this. You might want to go full screen too, KG, but
Yeah. Here.
Tell me if it's okay. Tell me if it's okay. I think I can. Well, I've got another screen running, so we'll see.
Welcome to Magic Carpet Ride, a community dedicated to making hex staking accessible to everyone. Staking hex on Ethereum is a fantastic way to earn high yield, but the high gas fees and the Ethereum price often make it difficult for small stakers to participate. In many cases, the cost of unstaking is greater than the yield received, causing many participants to worry about the future transaction fees and Ethereum price. Introducing Stakehouse, a fully trustless hex staking protocol that makes staking hex accessible to everyone on Ethereum. Collaborate with other hexagons, pool your stakes, and split gas fees to make it more affordable for everyone to participate. Plus, the larger the pool, the bigger pays better bonus. Best of all, there are no middlemen or admin keys to worry about, giving you peace of mind while you stake. Stakehouse is versatile. Anyone can create a pool, and Stakehouse will automatically post it on Twitter for all to see and join. This is a great introduction to the Hex community and helps decrease gas costs and increase the bigger pays better bonus for all. Stakehouse can also be used to create a new rung on the staking ladder for those who have heard about staking ladders but don't have enough Hex to start. Stakehouse pools can be used to teach new community members about this powerful strategy. Even whales can benefit from Stakehouse by working with smaller Hex holders to max out the 150 million Hex bigger pays better bonus. Hex on Ethereum is far from dead, and Magic Carpet Ride is doing its part to make sure Hex staking is accessible to everyone. Join our mission to #Hex Together and start staking Hex today with Stakehouse. Visit 0xstakehouse.io today.
You guys are muted. Yeah, I'll mute you.
I'm not muted.
That was a cool video.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you. So we have a short, sharp, sweet one too, which is a bit of like, we have another explainer video coming out. We're hoping we were going to have it to air here right now. I've had a look at the draft. It's probably not going to be ready for another 12 hours, but that sort of a brief basic explainer about the MCR 369 token and Bistro.
But if you want to dive into the token, KG, what are your questions, bud? Let's dive in.
Okay. But right before we step to the token, watching that video gave me one more question about the pooled stakes.
Okay.
So everybody stakes. Okay, so everyone is paying their own gas fee to input the hex into the Stakehouse contract. You're paying that as the individual. Excuse me. So then all the hex is collected there. Who pays the this is a two-part question. So question one, who pays the gas fee to start the stake?
We're not going to answer that right now.
Okay, that's fair. So then someone somehow the fee to pay the start stake is paid. Sorry, the fee to start the stake is paid. Now everything happens, blah blah blah. 10 years goes by. All right, time to unstake. Somebody calls the public call function, pays the gas to end the stake. Now, where I'm still not quite grasping it is how then where do I, as the individual staker that didn't hit the public call function, when do I even ever, where does my 5% come out? Like how does that?
When you go to, so let's just take it through the process, right? Everybody's put their hex in. Stake gets confirmed, and it's public. Everybody can see the stake is actually live, right? When that stake ends, let's just say it's a 30-day stake for discussion purposes. 30 days from now, or 29 days from now, the Hedron will get claimed. 30 days from now, just like on Hex, right? The button goes black and our public call feature is available to be pressed, right? That whoever does the public call function, he pays the gas. Then as other people claim their tokens, so you have X amount of let's say you have 10,000 tokens for that particular pool, you put them back in the pool and you get that proportion of the hex within that contract, and that's when you pay to retrieve your tokens. And if it is a pool with over 20 people in it, you're paying 5% of the in-stake fee because it's divided amongst the people in the pool.
But how?
What do you mean? So if you want it's simple without going into the technical side, because we don't want to give our competitors the edge because they haven't been able to solve it. So basically, if you want to get your hex back, you have to pay your share, and if you don't, then you don't get your hex back because that's
gotcha. Okay, right? Understood.
You want your hex, you pay your share because that's the function. Okay,
right.
Okay,
and then on top of that, there's obviously the incentivization. So what if people don't come back? Then the people are going to get the all of the heat, a high percentage of the Hedron for everyone who doesn't come back. What's interesting though, and we're not going to go into how this works because again, this is months of IP to work this out. Just because a pool, and just think about this one for a minute, just because a pool starts with 20 people, doesn't mean it ends with 20 people. It could end with 100.
You're right.
It could end with 100 people, and they all have to come back and pay their share to get their hex. The bigger pays better, the Hedron, and the yield. So when you talk about passive revenue, it's some of the numbers can be scary. Like anything, it comes down to adoption. If people are comfortable with the protocol, they see the value and the advantage of doing this, we think the pools are going to be super popular. The more popular the pools are, the more revenue is generated for the MCR token holder. And unlike majority of cryptos out there where people are shilling their actual coin, they don't need to do that. They'd be more like promoting pooling together hex because that's what's going to earn revenue for people that have the underlying revenue generating token, which is the MCR one. Okay, so it's totally different.
We're standing on the shoulder of a couple of giants too, right? The first person who took the leap of faith in this, or the first group, is the Staker app guys. They decided to make a very, very cool app for your phone that was very secure and that you could place your stakes in there instead of going to hex.com, and you can handle your business with Staker app. That was awesome. And then the person who took a huge leap of faith was Alex, right? Alex said, you know what, I'm going to turn this into an NFT, and I'm going to put all kinds of game theory around it. There's going to be Hedron. I'm going to let you claim from your pre-existing stakes that are prior to me even releasing this. That is a big deal, right? He took a huge leap of faith and said this. He must have had personal belief that this was going to gain adoption just due to what he had designed. He saw that it was going to be good for the community, and he went forward. That's what we're doing.
Okay. No, I hear what you're saying, and it is a cool value proposition. So, all right, I get where we're at on the Steakhouse. It makes sense. We're there. So MCR token, you stake it, you earn a portion of. I understand that you could add more revenue going down in the future. Right, that's kind of how it is in our ecosystem too. That it is how it is. So right now, today, without going into what the future, you can if you'd like, but just trying to understand where we're at today. What revenue streams are pointing and paying into MCR token stakers?
So when you have MCR token, right, on Ethereum, The Steakhouse is pointing towards the MCR token, as well as the Bistro. And the cool thing, just like you've done on a couple of things as well, right? That token's going to be copied on Pulse Chain, and then the revenue from Steakhouse and the Bistro or OTC will be pointed at that. So you will have a duplicate of your existing Ethereum copy, your existing Ethereum position on Pulse Chain, and it will generate revenue on both sides with both of those dApps right now currently.
But just like in Hex, only if you're staked. So the staker class gets the revenue and the non-staker class of MCR do not. So people will go, well, why wouldn't you stake? Well, BNB pot has a similar function, and not everyone is staked. About 80% of the people are staked because the other 20% are speculating on the price. So if you have a percentage of people not staked, that means the percentage of people that are staked are getting a bigger piece of the revenue.
I see what you're saying. So even though, so if there's a 100% of the supply, but actually only 50% of the holders are staked, then your, 2% just became 4% because you're 4% of the entire staker class rather than 2% of the entire share, which is actually really cool. So is there minimums, maximums for staking, or is it just you put it in and you can take it out anytime?
Yeah. So with the MCR, we have some anti-gamification, but I want to go into too much of the IP on that as well. But we've tried to map out all the different imaginary horribles and, trying to protect the staker class from someone trying to come in the last day or 2 days or 3 days before a massive stake ends to try and game the system to get a massive portion of that revenue. So that's all been protected. So, but yeah, there will be a minimum period where, like Hedron on Icosa, you stake it, and it says your minimum stake period is 30 days. So we do have a staking period. Excuse me, my Spaces has just got loud. Let me turn it off.
Did you understand that though, KG? So let's just go over that a little bit. If Abit did a 30-day road trip, right, and he allowed a whole bunch of people to come into his pool for the next 30 days, or RG3's doing a U.S. tour as well, right, which is going to be kind of cool. So if those guys did a 30-day open pool, everybody can come in. That pool could be massive, absolutely massive, and the unstaking fees will be just as massive, right? Anytime you go over 20, the amount of people that you add to over 20, all those 5% little payouts are going to the MCR token holders. So if there's 200 people, that's 5% times 200 that's going to the people who are staking MCR. So allowing people to take part in those 200 people by staking their tokens the day before is not going to happen. They're going to have to season their funds, if you will. I know that you would do a little bit of real estate, right? So those funds, those tokens are going to need to be staked in order to get those types of rewards.
So do you have to be staked for a minimum amount of time in order to start earning the rewards? Got it. And do you have that date, or are we not there yet?
We do have the timeline. We're just not publishing it.
Okay. So
it could be similar to like Hedron.
Yeah, similar to Hedron, similar to BNB pot. Even during DAO season, when everybody and their brother was firing up a DAO on AVAX or a Phantom or BNB, right? Those guys started to even adopt a cooling off period where your Hector stayed unavailable for 7 days, and then you had to move it, right? That is a system that has been adopted through several different classes of crypto projects.
Yeah,
everything's done to protect the users.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that philosophy because you could have somebody come in right before, some kind of big payout and just stake in a massive, and then it would actually nuke and hurt everybody who has had their funds seasoned, so to
Right.
speak. So having minimums, especially for DAOs too, having minimums before you can vote, so that way you can't come in and sway a vote last minute. I agree with that from a philosophical standpoint. So no objections there. All right. And then
Can I play the hype video? It's 40 seconds.
go for it.
Before we do, Fast Abdul, we did touch base on the emergency end stake at the start of the show, so you might have to go back, but there's no emergency end stake in this. There's no need to, because you get a receipt token for being in any particular pool, and you can sell a percentage or all of your receipt tokens, so there's no need to have an emergency end stake. So every stake will run full course to maturity.
Okay. Which is bullish.
Yes. Let me play this. Are you ready?
Hit it.
One moment. Let me go full screen.
It's like that, like that. It's like that, like that. Like that. It's like that, like that. Like that, like that. Like that, like that.
Very nice. Cool that you guys have that content coming out.
We're trying, bud. We're trying.
So this is actually go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
So, and then we have one more. Well, we have more, but we have one more shortly to explain, in a visual, basic way, the MCR and the bistro. Because some people learn visually, so we felt it was important to have some professionally made videos for that reason. So, and we're pretty excited about him because the guy that's making it for us he's amazing. We've actually had quite a few projects hit us up and said, "Who did you use? Can we use him?" The answer was yes. We'll help you. I think Don even hit us up.
Mr. Montoya.
Boys from Win-Win hit us up, and we're like, soon as he's finished with our timeline, we'll pass his details on, and he'll be much appreciated. So.
Yeah, Don actually sent me that video. You had the stake skateboarding, and
I made that.
Yeah,
we made that one.
I was like, that's Skate 3.
Yeah,
I know all about Skate 3. I used to back in the day because I'm a skateboarder, and one thing that my friend and I used to do is we'd go on Skate 3, and we would do tricks in the game, and there's a replay feature. So we would watch how the character would do it in slow-mo over and over and over again to try and, do the tricks ourselves. So when I saw your skating in Skate 3, I was like, cool. That was cool.
Nice.
Did you want to quickly go over that website? Because there's one, obviously, factor we haven't spoke about, which is fast approaching, which is now it's like 23 hours away, and that's the sacrifice for the MCR. Token.
That's exactly the point I was going to bring up next. So, yes, tell us about what you've got going on there.
Okay, so we may as well go back to this screen. So this is the homepage. Okay, is that come up, KG?
I see it loud and clear.
Okay, cool. So the homepage, mcr369.io, you can find that through our link tree on our Twitters. Also, there's links down here in our Telegrams. The 0x Steakhouse website, which is 0xsteakhouse.io, is being worked on, but it does have links back to MCR as well. So this is where you'll land. It gives you a brief outline of what the MCR 369 token, which is what we've spoken about today. So I'm not really going to go into that again, but people can read this at their leisure. But these are all the points that TD and I covered with you today. And just a little message down here, like, due to the competitive nature, we're not releasing all of our IP. So this just gives you a basic overview of what the basis of the MCR 369 token does. And then we have the sacrifice details. Like all true sacrifices, there's a political statement. So we think the political statement that could be fitting is the right to choose what you eat. I don't want to eat the bugs. You can have a read over the political statement, and if you want to participate, we do have a target. So it's not a cap. It's a target of 1,369,000. And so what that means is, I can explain it a bit further when we get onto some of these other tabs. But basically, when we hit that target, whatever period is left in that day. So let's say there was 3 hours left on the first day, and we hit that target. So you'll get those 3 hours and 1 full day the next day, 0000 UTC. So that would give you 27 hours in that hypothetical example, okay? We did that because people live in all different parts of the world, different time frames. We've done your sacrifice. We've done others with caps and overflow pools and all that stuff. We wanted to give people an opportunity wherever they are in the world to not worry about a whale taking a massive portion and then it closing and they're not getting a good deal or missing out. So we've designed it in a way that they can get up in their own time, in their own country, whatever time that might be, and they know that they've got a window of time which is quite generous to be able to sacrifice if they choose. Does that make sense?
To me, it makes perfect sense. I hear exactly what you're saying.
So just to give this a breakdown, $1 sacrificed will be awarded 100 points. That is the base rate, okay? So there's day 1 to 5. There's a 1.45 multiplier. So the dollar gives you the base points plus the multiplier gives you 145. Now we have added a 5% Magic Carpet Ride loyalty bonus. So if you went in any of the pools we facilitated, so that's PulseX, Liquid Loans, Internet Money, Poor Pleb, and we have one active pool still running for Free Pulse, which is our free carpet ride room. If you've been in any of those, including the active one, you'll receive a one-time bonus of 5% per wallet. So if you've been in all 5 of them, it's not 5% for everyone you've been in. It's 5%, whether you've been in one or all of them. Okay, so that's how that works. So as you can see, there's 5 days. Then 6 to 10 days is a different volume multiplier. Then 11 days, it's 1 for 1. Okay, still all of them having the 5%. So if we do hit the target, like I said, you've got whatever's left in that day plus a 24-hour window. So we think we've tried to come up with a fair solution for everyone, so they don't have to panic. They don't have to be there like right at the start. If it's 4 a.m. in the morning, they don't have to actually stay up to 4 a.m. and participate. They can just get up in their own time and do it when they're comfortable.
So question here. So you said day 11 to target. Look, I want you guys to be completely successful, but you had to ask the question for, game theory and numbers. What happens if you don't hit the target?
Well, it'll go until we're ready to, if it went that long, we're going till we're ready to deploy. And at some point you would have to cut it off. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to check.
Yeah. So that's basically that work. And then we don't know the total supply until all of this plays out. You can only speculate based on participation. Yeah. Of
course.
One could think though that, let's say we got to the target and nothing more, then, you can do the maths to work out roughly what it might be, but yeah, it's just speculation. So there's a bit of a thank you notice to our supporters here. And obviously do not sacrifice after it closes. We will have a countdown clock, so it'll be very clear. I'm sure if you're in our Telegram, the community is great. They'll let you know as well. And then we have a rules page. The rules are pretty standard with anyone who's done a sacrifice, okay? So we outline here the chains. So there's the Ethereum mainnet, BNB Smart Chain, which was formerly Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche and Phantom. We only accept certain tokens, which we will go to the list of tokens next. And one of the most important ones, which I'm sure you're aware of too, KG, you must sacrifice from your wallet. So what that means is your sacrifice must come from your wallet, i.e. you hold the private keys, not an exchange, okay? No exchanges. It has to come from your own wallet. Obviously, this outlines when it starts. So March 17th, 0000 UTC. This time is a great time. It's the same time that Hex ticks over and does its calculation every day. So Pacific Standard Time, I think that's 5 p.m., right, TD?
It is. And the worst one that ever happened was Liquid Loans, because they did theirs at noon UTC. And I was awake at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning all the time.
And this is 11 a.m. for Australia and 8 p.m. for Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, Sacrifice has a target. It will end 000 UTC the day after, should the target be achieved. So it gives everyone plenty of time. Some basic stuff here, multiple sacrifices. People can sacrifice as many times as they want. If it's from the same address, they'll all get accumulated, totaled. Obviously, if you do it over a different rate period, if it went into the 6 to 10 days, that also takes effect. So you get a 1.45 and then a 1.25. It'll all be aggregated and accumulated, but you can do that, okay? And then the participation and disclaimer, very standard. Please read over everything. We've made this website. You can absorb it in 5 to 10 minutes and then go back and reflect at your leisure. The list of tokens, very nicely laid out. You've got your chains and the tokens within each chain, okay? So it's very easy. Now, if there is a token that you have that isn't on the list, you can come and contact us. If we say it's okay, we'll allow you to do it. We just didn't want to list 1 million tokens, but also if there's something that has liquidity, then maybe that might be okay. Okay, we don't want you to have to go and make a trade and have a taxable event and all that sort of thing. But don't just go and do it. Come and see one of the guys in the team, and we can let you know if that's going to work.
I mean, that is a lot of options. I mean,
I have one important announcement to make. Actually, as you know, over the last week, it's been a little bit of the wild west in crypto with stablecoins. We've seen stablecoins go down as low as 84. It depends on where you look. Some say 83% on some exchanges, but the aggregated total, I think, was about 87 cents on USDC. So we had people in our telegrams freaking out. We had one guy actually swap from USDC to USTD because it held its peg, and he lost 10% in that trade just because USDC was down. And we were saying, look, it's obviously your call. We don't think it's going to stay depegged. But that gave us an idea that if this does happen during this sacrifice, the stable coins will be counted as a stable coin pegged to $1. So if it's at 80 cents, don't worry about it. If it's at 90 cents, don't worry about it. It'll be attributed as $1.
that's great.
Let's
That's
just
really
hope,
awesome.
Let's just hope we're out of those woods. But
Yeah.
if that does continue on in the next couple of days, don't worry about it.
Well, that is really good. And so, I mean, just so it's said, just so it's stated, obviously the value at the time that you sacrifice is the value you're credited.
Correct.
All right.
So just quickly, one more thing, KG. I won't stay on this one, but we have a Git book up. The Git book has an outline of everything that we've spoken about. So you can a bit about us, a bit about the protocol. So it obviously has the hype video, and then everything that's on the website essentially is here. But there is same with the sacrifice details, but we do obviously go into more about the Steakhouse because the Steakhouse website is still being built out. So you can get a bit more info on here about the Steakhouse. Not everything, though, due to the competitive nature. Same with the bistro. Obviously, we have our own YouTube with nearly 5,000 subs, but we have a lot of content on there. So what we've done is we've got a streams channel here, and the streams that are on here are just all the streams we've done with all the different community streamers. for all of these products that we're releasing, all in one place. So you'll be able to come here and see everything that we've spoken about. And after today, your one will go here. So they're just all done in the order that we did those streams. Okay, so one place to just go over all the videos that we've done involving Steakhouse, Bistro, and the MCR 369 token. So this link is in our LinkedIn. It's in our Telegram room. And then we have some website links down here, including hex.com, Hexfire. Learn about what hex staking is all about. This will continue to get built out more and more, and will be like a resource avenue for people. Okay.
Very cool. You actually made me feel like, man, I want to do that with our streams on my own website. So thanks for the inspiration there. That's really cool to see that.
We're just trying to make the barrier to entry really low. We know some people are pressed for time. So if they can go to one area and just get everything they need, then we're gonna try and facilitate that.
That's awesome. That the more simplified you can make something, the more likely somebody is to interact with it. There's too many complexities out there in the crypto space already. So kudos to you for that.
Thanks.
So just quickly on the Bistro, because I don't know how much time you've got, but for people who don't understand an OTC, it's a peer-to-peer trustless swap between two parties. I could think of it as a handshake. You want to swap this, they want that. You agree on a price, and it's done. So there's no slippage. There will be a fee, but the fee will be negligible compared to doing it on a DEX, and that fee, 100% of it, 100% goes to the MCR token holders, MCR 369 token holders. Okay, so you'll be able to get swap ERC20s, PRC20s, and our receipt token for all the individual pools. So you'll be able to look in that. That'll be like a marketplace, a true marketplace where people will be doing buys and asks, that sort of thing. You'll see our pools up there with T-share rates where people are trying to sell a position in a pool. People will be able to go, oh, wow, look at that. It's got X amount of T-shares. I want to take that deal. That's a good deal today. So there's no slippage, no illiquid issues. And that's how the marketplace got born for us.
Oh, sorry about that. Kick the light. No, OTC marketplaces are a really cool innovation coming to crypto, and I applaud you for doing that, because liquidity pools, they're cool in a lot of ways, right? Because you can make instant trades right then and there, but someone has to provide that liquidity on V2, which is where most of the liquidity is right now. And like you said, you're creating all these pools you're going to have theoretically hundreds or thousands of tokens. So you can have all these different liquidity pools. No, it makes so much sense for what you're doing to have that OTC
and it's good for not just our pool tokens, bud. It's good for all ERC20s and PRC20s. So there's going to be bags of Hex, bags of Pulse, bags of Hedron. There's going to be bags on that on that OTC. So that the idea was born due to having a stake that might not have as many tokens in it that you would need to create a successful liquidity pool on Uniswap. So we knew we needed to have something that tackled that idea. And it just so happened that it's good for everything else too.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
so you did say that MCR token holders would be, well, let me take a step back. So I'm not even upset at this. I'm just asking for factual purposes. There will be fees associated with the OTC marketplace, and those fees will be distributed to MCR stakers.
Correct.
Awesome.
Correct. 100%. So there's no 98% of it goes to the stakers and 2% goes to the protocol or anything like that. It all goes back to the token holders.
And the most important part about that is a lot of things out there are scraping the asset that you care most about, right? So with pooled stakes, they might be scraping a certain percentage of the hex that comes out of that stake. With marketplaces, perhaps they're taking, like, if I had a bunch of hedron up there, maybe they would take a small percentage of the hedron and charge a fee. We're not doing that. If you're listing 200 million hedron, right, on our OTC, the buyer is going to get 200 million hedron, right? Not 198 blah 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 blah, right? 200 million hedrons going to change hands. Our fees are going to be in the gas token of each chain. So that means that the stakers are getting the gas token of each chain. And we think that's badass.
It is badass, and that's exactly, and that's what we're doing too with internet money and our time token. And it's like, I truly see that as a new shift in the crypto paradigm. That yes, there is something cool to be said for earning, reflections, if you will, with these other protocols that pay you in reflections of those tokens. But it's hard to say that any revenue that you're earning in crypto is better than the native coin, because all these different tokens, they don't have the same value that the native coin has. The native coin is the only crypto with inherent value on each given blockchain, because it's the only token that you can use. You have to have it. You have to have the native coin. So if you believe in a chain, then its native coin is valuable. And so it's really cool that more protocols are being created around helping people earn passive income in those coins. So it's really cool you guys are doing that.
Thanks.
And there's no inflation in our token. There's no, obviously people can burn it if they want. We've seen that before, but so we went with the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, in all areas of everything we're doing. We want people to be able to understand it, not have to break their brain. And the more complicated you make something, the chances are it could fail or have some sort of bug or issue and that sort of thing. Everything we're doing is getting audited, at least 2 audits. One will be Coin Fabric, which is the company that audited Hex. And we are talking with some of the guys in the Builders Guild about who they went with audits, what their experience was like. Some of those have been horrific to hear. We want to choose a second high-end audit company. So basically, as you would know, KG, after testing, beta testing, public beta testing, where things might come up that we didn't predict or need tweaking or whatever. So once all that testing's done and the community's tested it, and we have a final product, it'll go away and for audit.
Beautiful.
Then we're live.
About 90 days. About 90 days or less now.
Oh, wow. You're looking at 90 days till mainnet.
Not
well,
it's looking at 90 days to testing and audits, right? We're trying to be on a test net on Ethereum within 90 days.
Beautiful. And when you guys do go through the security audit process, always reach out if you have any questions. We've been in knee deep in security audits, so happy to talk about that kind of stuff there as well.
I got you on speed dial.
I know you do, man. Great to meet both you guys. These guys are even more awesome in real life. Like, if you look to the left of TD's head, you'll see KG right there, because I signed the couch
right there.
When he was big.
KG.
Yeah. So, all right, guys.
Did your lovely wife sign it? Did she sign it?
She did somewhere. I just don't know exactly. I was looking for it actually while we were on stream here, but I couldn't see it. I know she did sign it though.
We're gonna do a documentary on the couch pretty soon.
I attach a GoPro to it.
We're thinking of an NFT, maybe a collection. So portions of the couch make up an NFT collection, and then maybe there's one of the whole couch.
Oh my gosh! And then you can nest TD.
People are asking.
You can nest the TD NFT into the couch.
There you go.
Well, all right, guys. I've asked all my questions. I feel like I have a better understanding of what. Cut out there for a minute. I feel like I have a better understanding of what you guys are doing, Is there anything else you want to leave anybody with? You can plug your socials. I do have your socials down, at least your Twitters, down in the description. But beyond that, any parting thoughts you guys want to share?
We would just like to thank everybody, including yourself, KG, for coming on the Magic Carpet Ride. It's been a pretty a cool ride so far. We've met a lot of really nice people, and we wouldn't be in this position without the community that grew around us. So we appreciate that very much.
Yes, Sandy just shouted out that she sees her name. So yeah, in the middle of the couch there is Sandy Beach there. Everyone signed that couch. It was a good time, and TD gave out lots of cigars. So lots of people went outside and lit up a cigar and reminisced about the time they've spent. It was a really cool event that whole week. But yeah, you can find us through Twitter, 0x Steakhouse IO, 0x Bistro IO, obviously Magic Carpet 369. There's link trees on all of those accounts, which will take you to a link tree which has all of our links to get to our Telegram rooms and that sort of stuff. So we're less than 23 hours away from the sacrifice. Once we will be going live with the stream, just like we did with you guys, pre-sacrifice, not long before. We might have some special guests come on. We've been reaching out to people. I think we might have a few locked in. We will probably even open up that stream at some point to community members that are in the chat that may want to be comfortable coming on. You can use a digital avatar, so you don't have to show your face if you're shy, whatever the reason might be. And so when the SAC goes live, just so people know what to expect, just like verification. So we will show that live on stream. The Telegram groups will be muted, so no one will be able to type. And so we'll populate it there as well, because we don't want someone coming in and just populating an address that they own for people to suck into. We've seen that happen before, and before it gets shut off, it might only be 30, 40 seconds, but that can be thousands of dollars that goes to some sort of scammer. So it'll be verified on the website, stream, and in Telegram, and we'll be televising it. So we would invite people to look at all three locations. We will stream and show all three locations live. But yeah, verify, never trust.
Fully understand. And great advice. Yes. Yes, exactly. Verify, never trust. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for coming on today. I appreciate everybody for joining. If you're out there, you're watching, I know this was an MCR interview, but like always, whenever I end the stream, I'm going to play the Internet Money Anthem. So if you got 2 minutes, please stick around. It's got philosophy. It's got beats. It's got vibes. It was made by our friend Base God. If you want to get Magic Carpet Rides or Triplet Dad or Ty's social information down in the description below. I appreciate each and every one for joining. See you out there next time.
Peace. Thanks, fam. Thanks, community.
What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is more than just money. Cryptocurrency is a lifestyle, a philosophy, an ecosystem, the means by which human beings to attain financial freedom, not just in the sense of multiplying their investment, but giving humans the ability to interact with money in any way that they see fit. And if that way doesn't already exist, that's the beauty of crypto, is you can create it. And that's what we've done here. Internet money is the future. Internet money is the future. What is internet money, you ask? Well, it's just that.